Carrie, it's been said that those who ignore history are bound to repeat it, and one of the historical events that we want to remember is the Roe v. Wade decision. Just what did that decision do?
Well, Kim, most people have heard of Roe v. Wade, but there was a second decision handed down that day, and that was Doe v. Bolton. And Roe and Doe together legalized abortion for any reason during the full 9 months of pregnancy up to birth for any woman, including teenagers, without their parents' knowledge, and paid for by taxpayer dollars. So unless there's been a state or a federal law passed to limit those categories, that is the legacy of Roe v. Wade and Doe v. Bolton.
Now, what's happened in abortion law since the 1973 decisions?
Well, Roe and Doe really set the baseline for abortion law in the United States. And in the years following Roe and Doe, both states and the federal government have passed laws that limit abortion or limit taxpayer funding. Now, some of those laws were challenged, and about a dozen of those laws ended up back at the U.S. Supreme Court. Those Supreme Court rulings really determine what's allowed in abortion law today. However, that process continues. States still pass tough pro-life laws. The abortion industry still goes to court to challenge them. So we still have that tension going back and forth between the law and the courts. But as long as Roe and Doe are the law of the land, it's not the people that are deciding abortion law, it's the courts.
Do you think Roe will ever be overturned? And if so, when?
I do. I do think it will. And Focus on the Family continues to work to that day. It's important for people to understand, Kim, that in order to overturn Roe and Doe, the key is not so much the law that you put before the court, but it's the composition of the court. For instance, you could have a law as simple as regulating the abortion industry, and if it's before the right court, they could overturn Roe and Doe in a heartbeat. So the key is really having the right justices on the court.